Welcome back to yet another video, and today we need to talk about some bad things, and some of you might not want to hear that. Why do bows break? And I talk specifically about laminated bows, of course. First of all, our beloved what they still call horse bows, even laminated long bows, and these recurve bows. Why do they break? A minor reason, with maybe 1% of all the broken bows. And we talk about the quality bows, of course, like, you know, all the quality brands like AF, Ali, Bovig, Bogar, Navalny, Groza, all these ones. Sure, I've forgotten some. Good quality production laminated bows. I don't talk about this cheap stuff you can get on eBay from China, from no name, what have you. A minor thing there with the good ones can be, and it's 1% chance, a flaw somewhere in the material. And mostly either it's the glue, but most of all times is then that the wood in the core somewhere is faulty and it doesn't hold up and it starts breaking. This is the least of the reasons why bows break. More likely it's, and in general almost all the time, it's the user failure, that the user does something wrong, and it always starts with the wrong way of stringing. And I don't show you on this bow, but of course many of you still use the step-through method. You know the common step-through method. You step through, have this one down on your ankle, the handle behind your thigh, and then you string the bow like this. With a snake bow, it's not a problem. With a lightweight bow, it's not a problem. But some people don't understand the principle, and what they are doing is they start twisting the bow. You see that? And when the limbs are not in line anymore, a snake bow can handle that because it's a piece of plastic. But if you do this with a, let's say with a takedown, these limbs are very fragile. So if you start doing this with a takedown bow, you see how easy these limbs bend and twist. And then you have them twisted, and it's a hassle to get them straight again. So this step-through method, don't use it for your recurve bows. Don't use it for any of these bows. You can use it for a snake bow or something, or a fiberglass bow maybe. For a long bow, when you have the string on it, it's almost impossible to do step-through method. One thing you can do with a long bow is you put the bottom part on the side of your shoe. You hold it here against, you see that, and then you slide up. See, there's no chance of twisting the bow. You saw that? It's a complete straight line, and the bow is strung and safe. In the same way, unstringing it, same way, completely straight, no harm to the limbs. But of course, what you always should use is a stringer. You know, the normal, the common ones is like this one, has on one side a pouchy, which you put the bottom part in, of course with a string on it. I don't string all the bows because you get the point. But here, you know, safe stringing of a recurve bow. Oh, you put this pouch. It's a Bear Paw one. These are the new ones from Bear Paw. So in there, and you put this one over the limb, and you put this one on the floor. Make sure that your feet are in the center of the bow. Hold this one tight that it doesn't slide. Then you raise the bow until you can fill the string in. This is the way how to string your recurve bow. You could use this, of course, even for a long bow. But if you get, as example, a bow from Outlaw Bow, you get this nice one with these two small hoodies. So that means you put one hoodie on here. There it is. There you need to be careful because you don't have a lot of meat to put the hood on. On the bottom one it's okay, but on the top one you still need to be able to put the string in. Same principle, then you step on it. Zack, zack. You raise the bow, make sure that you can still put the string in this groove. and string the bow like this. No harm at all. One thing, of course we don't talk about composite bows, but if you have a biocomposite bow from Groza, I would recommend that you get the bow first. This is now not a Groza bow, but as an example, because you have, even if it's processed sinew and processed horn, that you warm up the limbs first a bit. You work the limbs a little before you start stringing the bow. And with biocomposite, you're always very careful when you unstring the bow that you do it very, very slow. So, and now for the horse bows, of course, there are different ways. The best way is always if you have two people. Wait a second. Is it stable enough? Yes. You sit there, you know, have your knees there, bend the bow back, and the other one puts the string in. This is one of the safetiest ways. And the other way is, as example, Tom Tech from Archer's Tidbits gets you covered. You get here these nice, they have two loops, loopy loops. You put one here. And Alibo ships one with his Shonkoro. I have it hanging there, but I don't have the Shonkoro here, so that's why I don't show you. You put this one here. You make sure that the string is on one side already on. And on the other side you fiddle it through there. And then what you need to take care here is that you make a very wide step. See that? That you have this kind of squared. That the straps are really closer to the end of the sears here. And then you simply pull up in a straight manner until you can put the string in. Easy peasy, and unstringing the same way. So this is the most common problem why bows break. Of course you have then the issue with heat and humidity that causes problems, but as long as you keep your bow, first of all, stored right. Storage is another problem. When you have your bow stored and you pack some other stuff on it, or you keep the bow standing somewhere in a corner and it gets only a slight twist, over time it settles there. And when you string the bow, it's tough. So store your bows properly, hang them somewhere on the wall on two pegs or something like this, you know, and then in a dark, dry, not too hot position. And don't leave your bow strung in the car for a long time. And even when you come from when you have a bow in your car and it's warm there and you get it out and it's -degrees, let the bow settle first for the temperature. So these are the small things you can cause a little harm to your bow. And if the bow gets too warm, more than 40 degrees in the sun, of course these epoxide glue can get a little soft. Then you can have problems. The whole bow can get soft a little and it's more prone to twist and stuff like this. So yes, that's an issue, but mostly still stringing the bow in the wrong way. Then maybe you shoot to lightweight arrows with your bow, but luckily now many bow builders write their arrow weight recommendation on the website or on their warranty cards, so you are safe there. That you know, okay, the minimum is 10 grain or 9 grain or 15 grain for a Manchu. Stick with it. And the last thing, which is sometimes partly an issue with the bow builder, when the bow builder tells you my bow has a max draw of 32 inches and you feel at 30 inches, you know, that 32 is really the max. 32 and a half and this bow will break. And of course you get the bow, you think you can draw 32 inches and you draw over 32 and then you max this bow always out, and it's like you don't always drive your car full speed on the highway. It causes really stress. So that's why I would always say, if a bow has a safe max draw of 33 inches, then tell the people it's a 32-inch bow. Or if it's 32 inches, tell them it's a 31 or 30-inch draw bow, then you're on the safe side. So if you max your bow out, if you overdraw your bow, if it's 32 and you think, I can draw a little more, and and then these things can cause problems too, but they are minor. The biggest problem is really the wrong way of stringing, a little bit the storage, and for the rest you don't have to do a lot. These laminated bows are they are good, you know. You wipe them sometimes with a wet cloth and that's fine. You don't need to do anything. You don't need oils or something. Like with a pure wood bow, you need to oil it that it keeps its shape, and these pure wood bows will break. That's why we talk only about laminated bows. If you treat them well, they will last a lifetime. And then of course there is the other way of stringing a bow. Which part is the upper one? I didn't show you now, but you know it by now and you saw videos of it. That you have the upper string in, you stand there, step through, but you don't step through in the normal way. You put this one above your knee, the handle just points out here a little, you hold here with your thumb, not like this because then you start twisting again, like this, and then you string your bow. In this way you bend both limbs, you make, you make sure that the string sits in the nock and on the string bridge, and then you let go. And what you always do before you shoot, and sometimes between the shot, and it depends a bit on the bow, always check if the bow is straight. You look down the string, is the tip of the sear in line with the string or not? But this is an AF bow, so there is no problem, but sometimes you see that the sear has then a slightly off, then you need to get this thing bent a little in the opposite direction. Check again until it's straight. You pre-draw your bow a few times. And then you check when you have these string bridges. You pre-draw, let go, and you check if the string ends up in the center of the string bridges again. If it's not, then you still have some warp, some twist or something in it. Check again, fix it before you start shooting. And then when you shoot, after a while, just look down your bow. Did it twist? You know, you do torque or you do heavy katra or stuff like this with your bow. Check sometimes, and even check sometimes here if the tiller is straight. With some biocomposite can happen that they look like this in the beginning. You fix it first and then it's fine. Usually the normal laminated bows don't have this problem. So it's not so hard to take good care of your bows, and I really pull my head for all these bow companies. They replace the bows because they delaminated due to user failure, and still they said, okay, listen, you get a new one, or you get whatever, a big discount on a new one or so. They are really, most of them are really good in this regard, so there is no problem. We have a few, and I did once a video, yes, bows break. Some simply don't want them, that's their issue. And sometimes it can happen that the company brings out a new bow, and in the first version, I don't know, whatever, the back reinforcement lifts off a little on one side because they, whatever, you know, they can happen, these small things, but they're either easily fixed, or you send them back, they fix it for you, or they even most probably send you a new one. And this is one thing. So to the bow builders, don't max out your bows. Only, and the thing is, you don't know who buys your bows. If I said, and I did the video about the Bowman bow, there I wish, because I know how to handle the bow, and when you know what you're doing and you know the bow builder, then you can tell him, listen, build me this one, but made for exactly my draw length, maximum 1 inch more, and built for performance. So then I know this bow, if I treat it a little wrong, it can break, but I have no problem. Then I simply get a new one because I know it was my mistake. I would not blame the bow builder for it. But when I get one of these ones and I treat this bow well, if it breaks, you get a new one, because then it was a material failure. But as I said, 99% it's user error. And now you hear the bell. Now it's time to go. Time to, and I didn't even shoot an area, so I shoot quickly because the snake is still here. And that's why get a snake bow. In the beginning it's a plastic bow. You can learn all these things, you know, how to string, you know, you can learn the step through method, and then you see what you're doing, if you twist your bow or not, or you do the other step through method where you have then this one here on the bottom, the handle behind your leg like this. You hold the hand here, and you see in this way you don't twist the bow. And this is what you can easily learn with a snake bow. You can learn everything on a snake bow. You could even learn this one on a snake bow, to string and unstring. This is how I string the snake bow. So with a gentle recurve or reflex deflex bow, you still can use this method from the longbow. You put the bottom part on the side of your shoe, hold it here, and then simply pull the handle back, you see, and then the bow bends, then you can put the string off and can put the string on. So easy peasy. It's really not that hard, but you need to take care of your bow and you need to know what your bow is doing. With fiberglass bows you mostly don't have these problems because you can even leave them strung, because that I at least shot some arrows in this video. Sitting because I'm lazy. I'm the lazy archer. You know, there's a running archer and there's a lazy archer, which would be then me. Oh, and nice around the target, you know. I don't show you the group. And that's all I have. So really take care of your bow and know how to string a bow. If you don't know it, get a cheap bow or build yourself something out of a PVC pipe that to learn how to string a bow. This is the most crucial part why these laminated bows break. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in the next one.